All right, we have this problem to solve today, and this is a problem involving angles. Now, and the question goes as in the diagram below, find the value of x and hence find the interior angles of x, y, z. So, where is the interior angles? Interior angle means that angles are inside. You agree with me that x is inside, this y is inside this triangle, and this z is inside this triangle. Then we have some external angles where values are given, right? So here we have 2x plus 12. Here is 12, right? So let me magnify it so that you see it well. All right, so here we have 2x plus 12. Then here we have 3x. Here we have what? 180 minus x. All right, now, in mathematics, laws guides mathematics. Basically, mathematics has to do with laws, right? Now, when it comes to angles, we have several laws, but there's a particular law we'll be using here. The law says vertically opposite angles are equal. Like vertically opposite angles are equal. Like x and 3x and z are the same thing. They are equal. Mean that z is equal to 3x. That's what we're trying to say. So here we have 2x plus 12 is equal to x. Both of them are equal. Now here we have 180 minus x is equal to this side. There's no value there. All right. So now let's take them one by one, focusing on that law. So we have 2x. I'm doing this side first. 2x plus 12 plus x, this particular x, is equal to 180. Now don't get confused. What happened is, you see this angle and this angle, you have x, then this side is empty and the other side is empty. 4 of them are going to sum up to be 360. 4 of them will sum up to be 360, right? So if you divide into 2, that will be 180. So two sides of this side and this side are going to be, when you add the values that we are going to get, if there was value in this x and the value of this ones, it's going to give you 180. That's what you just expressed now, right? So therefore, and don't forget, this is like a capital X. It's not the same thing as this X, right? So we are going to have we are going to collect like stem basically and make this capital S subject of the formula. So we are going to be having something like 180 minus 12. Are we together? Then minus 2x, because this was positive, right? So we now have the capital letter X to be what? 180 minus 12. That's 168. Then minus 2x. Now, please note this expression. We'll be using it very soon. Note that first expression. Then let's go to the let's go to the next one. The next one, which is this one, and which is this one. This one says 3x is equal to what? Z. That's all. So we are saying z is equal to 3x. That's what we are saying. So this, we are done with this. There's nothing to do there. Just follow me. Then we have another one here which says, now like I told you, like this one, there's a particular law that says angle on a straight line is equal to 180, meaning that 180 minus x, when you add it to y, it's going to give you 180. So assuming there is a value in this y, and this is not 180 minus, like is a whole number, right, with no variables. So it's when you add both of them, it's going to be 180. So we'll be using that also. So meaning that we have y plus 180 minus x, right, to be equal to what? To to be equal to 180. That's what we are saying, right? So don't forget that we are making y the subject of the formula. So take everything down to the other side, which will give us 180. By the time you open the bracket, 180 minus 180, then this becomes positive x. I hope we get that. So let's move this up. Now, it means that y will now be, this 180 minus 180 is 0. So it means that we have x left. So y is equal to x, right? So the next thing we are going to be doing is that we will have to add all the answers we get, because all the answers will be equal to 180. So all the answers will give us this interior angle. It means that we are adding this. Now what we are trying to do is the sum of all angles in a triangle. So the sum of x plus y plus z is equal to what? 180. Is another law in mathematics. So the sum of, in fact, that is basically the sum of all angles in a triangle is equal to 180. The sum of all angles in a triangle, which is x, y, and z, and we have gotten their value, right? All the value we get now, we are going to be imputing them into that expression. So what's the first one we have here? We said basically y is equal to what? X. Okay, let me do it from here so that we follow up. Okay, so x, the first one, x is what? 168 minus 2x. Put them in the bracket. Plus, right? I just did x. This, look at x is this. That's what you have there. Then add it to y. What do we have as our y? Y is basically x. Now, what do we have our plus, right? Z. What do we have as our z? We said z is 3x. Are you following me? Then all of them will be equal to what? 180. So now we have to collect like them, basically. We collect what? We collect likes 10. Now, open everything up. That will be 168 minus 2x. X plus, that will be x plus 3x, that's 4x, right? Is equal to what? 180, right? So if we work on this, that will be 168. That's what? Plus 2x, because minus 2x plus 4x is 2x, right? Then it's equal to 180. Here we'll still collect like same. Let's take this to the other side, which is 2x will now be equal to 180. Was there before? This is crossing. Positive become negative, yeah? Right? So 168. Sorry for that. 168. So 2x will now be equal to 180 minus 168 is 12. Therefore, we are going to divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. So this cancel this. X will now be equal to 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we have 6 degrees. So we have gotten our x to be what? 6 degrees. So since we have gotten our x to be 6 degrees, so we'll go back by solving each of the problem that we were given, basically. So we want to look for the angle which is x, y, and z, right? I'm talking about, we want to look for this, this, and this, right? Okay, so now we have one that said, which is, let's go back to it. Let's first do this one, this x. So x is what? X, according to what we have here, x is equal to 168 minus 2x. So we'll be doing that first. 1x is equal to 168 minus 2x. And we know our x already. So x will now be equal to 168 minus 2 brackets, what? 6. So therefore 2 by 6 is 12, right? So 168. So what do we have next? Then if we subtract this, x will now be equal to, that's 156 degree, right? So that's for x. Now we said our z is equal to what? 3x. So there's no big deal to do there. That's 3 times 6. So our z is basically 18 degree. Then the last one we have is the y. So don't forget that we said y is equal to x. So therefore y is basically angle 6. Now for us to check if you are correct or not, so I love doing that a lot. So the checking, I will have 156 plus 18 plus 6 is equal to 180 degree. You can check it from your hand also. All right, thank you. So if you want us to solve more problem, let us know in the comment section.